douchebag.
Anyway, all right.
Bravely Second is seeing more and more content being altered or cut from the American release of the game. In addition to the Tomahawk class being reworked into Cowboy for the American release, numerous other jobs are being reskinned to be less revealing. Beyond that, the art book, which comes with the collector's edition of the game, is going to have art altered and even removed.
How do you guys feel about this?
Well, here's my thing. If they're just changing something cosmetically, all right, the idea of changing Tomahawk into Cowboy, like, why? Because we're American? Like, we're cowboys? Like,
it's offensive. It's offensive to Native Americans.
From what I've read, I don't think they're actually like changing like the class abilities or even what the name of the skill set is. So it's like the Cowboy has shamanistic arts.
Yeah,
as its skill set.
Wow, but like reskinning things to be less revealing, why? I'm pretty sure our culture has nothing against revealing clothing, right?
I think most people will look at this as another instance of the gaming industry caving to pressures like that of Anita Sarkeesian. I mean, that's what I think. That's the reaction from most people.
Yeah.
Is that look at how Anita has won. Bravely Default has been altered. Clothes are less revealing. They won.
Do you really think
the feminists win?
Square Enix is looking at Anita whatever and is like saying because of her?
No.
As a sole source.
I don't.
As a sole source, no.
No.
But I think that he's right, that there are people, who have that kind of agenda out there to censor these video games, and yeah, they're going to see this as a win.
Yeah, sure. But here's the thing though, is it really? Like, no. Is that really why? Does anyone want to mount an argument that says that this is because of Anita Sarkeesian?
No.
No? Okay, good. So we can just throw that one out the window as purely speculative garbage. See, here's the thing, okay? And here's what I want to ask you out there in the audience, the person who is currently screaming at their monitor about Anita Sarkeesian, even though we didn't ask you. We had just asked the people in the room. I'm talking to you, okay?
All right, you got it? We're talking to you. Guy.
The one guy. No.
Guy.
Why do you play video games? Why is it that you play video games? Do you play video games to watch digital characters in little revealing skimpy clothing? Or do you play video games because you enjoy how the game plays as a game?
Well, Lion MX says that the thing with Bravely Second is they've also changed quests and story elements. The quests had multiple outcomes, people died, etc. Now they removed the bad outcomes, and there are only happy ones now.
Okay, I heard that too.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
And I think that is bullshit. But
can't. There were some changes that are fair, though.
Yeah.
Do you hear about we talked about this before, right? About the one that there was one where you drug someone into thinking they're straight and they're gay or something.
Fire Emblem. That's
Fire Emblem. Okay,
yeah.
So when shit like that happens, that's fair, I think. But then when it's just there's too many bad things, let's make it happy. I think that's when it becomes too much.
Here's the thing, though, is that people also want to lay that at the feet of Anita Sarkeesian, and you can't. You can try to blame her for getting some of the skimpiness taken out of the clothing. But then my response to you is, why do you care? Why does it matter how skimpy or not the clothing is on a character? That doesn't matter. That has never mattered to me. It doesn't.
Right. I think it's less about the fact that now they're not skimpy, and more about why change them. Like, it doesn't. If they would have came already that unrevealing, right?
Yeah.
I don't think people would have been those need to be more skimpy. I think it's just the fact that companies are letting people influence them is what has a lot of people up in arms. Because you're right. We don't need the skimpy clothing.
That's fair.
Right? But don't let them influence you over even petty shit.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Mm-hmm. I think that's totally fair. And I think that, if you go, I don't like it because they changed the outcome of quests, that's also fair. But you can't blame Anita Sarkeesian for that. The thing is that I always see this argument conflated and said, it's Anita Sarkeesian's fault. It's not. It's straight up not. There's a lot of people who lobby for different types of sensibilities within video games. And at the end of the day, you have a company and it's their choice. It's their choice whether they want to cave to pressure or not. Now, the choice is up to you whether you buy it. I mean, the demo's out on the Nintendo Store right now. A lot of people aren't very happy with it. And I think a lot of that opinion is colored by a lot of this exterior stories that have been going around.
Mm-hmm. Well, people always need, a generalized face to push and mount all of that criticism on top of. So
right. And I'd like to know who made the decision on the content changes, because that may have been. And I'll just take the flack. It may have been Nintendo. You don't know. I mean, in terms of content decisions like that may have been on Nintendo, because Nintendo is very specific about the types of content that it will allow or not allow on its systems.
That is absolutely true.
So we don't know. I mean, if you want to jump, a lot of people have been jumping to conclusions about Square Enix, about Anita Sarkeesian, and I'm just saying.
Well, hold on, because it's on the 3DS in Japan.
Right.
Okay. So if this was something that Nintendo was about, like, no, that's too revealing for our systems. Why is it okay in Japan but not okay in America?
I don't know. Maybe Nintendo has a different approach to caving to pressure. I mean,
different social norms, in different ways.
Culture.
Especially because Nintendo was much more family friendly
they have a totally different corporate culture.
Yeah, they just have like a more just like what people know about them in general.
It's not like if they Bravely Default came out, that was what, 2011, 2012.
Wow, has it been that long?
It's been a while since Bravely Default came out, right? And then this whole thing with Gamergate and Anita Sarkeesian starts up. But this is now 2 Nintendo games that we've seen have heavy edits to them.
What was the other one?
Fire Emblem.
Oh, okay.
So now, I mean, I would say that the suspect source to me is now Nintendo, because that's 2 separate Nintendo games.
But it must be Nintendo USA, because they're coming in over in Japan. It's fine. And that's weird, because I always thought that and again, maybe it's the fact that it's just this subculture within us. But like usually in America, they're not very.
Yeah, the whole caving to pressure thing. It's weird. I think, and again, it's a little bit more Nintendo in my mind than it is Square Enix, because Square Enix, I don't think gives a shit. But I mean, but my point was, you had the first Bravely Default that came out on 3DS. They started making the second Bravely Second like almost immediately.
Oh yeah, I mean there's a teaser for Bravely Second in Bravely Default.
Exactly.
So they knew it was happening.
Right. So that makes me think that first of all, the delay in this game is and the content edits may have been from Nintendo as opposed to internally from Square Enix. Mm-hmm. Interesting. I don't know. It's interesting. We'd love to, if you have an opinion, we'd love to take your call, 810-207-1764 or Final Encountercast on Skype. Yeah. Kookie will get you all taken care of and forward you along to the studio.
I think just what's weirdest to me is usually when you hear of big censorship things like this, it's because it's going into Korea or, it's going into China, and they have like all these rules and regulations about it. And for us to be getting the censored version, it's just like, what?
I know.
Coming off of a rough 2015,